Hello and welcome to Views on News. I am Jawad Tehami. Pakistan will be hosting the Council of the Heads of the Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting to be held on 15th and 16th of October, and invitations to the heads of the government of the member countries have already been sent. There have been multiple engagements in the lead up to this upcoming high-level moot. Also, the 23rd meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Trade Ministers Conference was held in Islamabad with Pakistan's Federal Minister for Commerce Jamil Khan in the chair. In his opening remarks, Jamil Khan said, let me quote him, Pakistan is a key member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and it is a matter of honor for us to hold its meeting. In recent years, Pakistan has undertaken significant reforms to improve its business environment, promote industrial growth, and enhance trade facilitation. Being at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, and Middle East, Pakistan is keen to contribute to the collective growth of the SCO region, unquote. Let me quickly bring in our esteemed panel of guests to talk about the significance of the important points that have been highlighted by Mr. Jamil Khan, and also what could be expected in the lead up to this upcoming high-level moot or the Council of Heads of Government that will be held here in Islamabad on 15th and 16th of October. In the studio, we are honored to have been joined by Mr. Khalid Taimur. Akram is expert in international relations. Mr. Akram, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. On Skype at the same time, we are honored to have been joined by Dr. Jamil Khan, former ambassador. Dr. Khan, thank you very much for your time, also for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. Mr. Akram, before we jump into discussing the details of today's address by Mr. Jamil Khan to this 23rd meeting of the SCO's Trade Ministers Conference, let's take a little bit of stock of the evolution of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. First, starting with the Shanghai spirit. What should a common man understand from this Shanghai spirit?
Yes, basically Shanghai spirit was started by China, and initially all the post-Soviet Central Asian countries were part of it, and then initially this was established to counter the extremism and to counter the effects of the post-Soviet era in that region. But then subsequently Shanghai Cooperation Organization was established, and Pakistan and India became the formal members of this organization in 2017. And then the expansion continued, and then Iran also became the member, and now Belarus and many other countries are now aiming to become the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. About Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the Western media and the critics always say that it is an answer to the European Union or NATO. No, it is not an answer to European Union. It is also not an answer to the NATO. It is an alliance of the countries in which they get together to talk about trade, to talk about culture, to talk about people-to-people connectivity. And we have seen in last couple of years that Shanghai Cooperation Organization has evolved into a mechanism in which these countries are cooperating together in the form of for the trade, for people-to-people connectivity, education connectivity, and we have seen during the last two chairmanships of our brotherly countries like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, both of them they have given new ideas for this organization, and this is the only organization which has been very closely working with the new Afghan government, because Shanghai Cooperation Organization is the organization of this region, and Afghanistan is a common problem to all the stakeholders in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And Shanghai Cooperation Organization was the first organization which approached the Taliban government after 15th of August 2021, and they started talking to them. In addition, over here I would like to point out one important thing that our neighboring country India has been trying to, although they are part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but they have been trying to underplay this organization, and unfortunately last year once they had the chairmanship, they instead of holding the the head of the government state session in India, they opted to have it online, and they tried to underplay the significance of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But over here, I would also like to tell the audience that this SCO is not like SARC, because we have seen that how India has been downplaying the SARC and how SARC has become dead horse.
It's not like SARC. I'll be taking your view, a detailed view regarding that particular thing also, and India's endeavors to underplay this particular organization, and it can't be done as it has been done with SARC. Let me proceed with the discussion. Dr. Jamil Khan, this evolution of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the main objective or the purpose of the establishment of this particular regional forum, and how it basically evolved over the years. At this particular point in time, where does it stand with all its major achievements? If you could identify those also.
Well, every passing year, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is attaining a new trajectory of its progress. And it's basically because the world is shifting from global west to global east. And we should remember that SCO, 40% of the world population, they live here in these countries of SCO. And 30% of the global GDP for nuclear countries. So it's a hugely significant bloc, and this is formed under United Nations Charter, Chapter 8, like the other regional organization, may it be Gulf Organization or AU, African Union, or for that matter SADC, or for that matter EU, or all these regional organizations, all these organizations come under Chapter 8 of the United Nations Charter. So it has the strength and the power, and it's under of the international law. But then this has unique features in it because of its the charter which it has evolved. And basically, it was established in 2001, and the main purpose was regional, political, economic, and the security issues and security matters. And it's in that context now, even today's meeting, of the trade ministers and the commerce minister, they were talking about the trade, they were talking about the products, they were talking about the connectivity. The Chinese minister, he mentioned about AI, about e-commerce, about removing the negative list, because these are the major stumbling block in the progress of the regional trade. So removing of China has removed the scores of the items from the negative list, and traditional medicine, they are trying to introduce it, and they're trying to make it easier for the member countries to have the access to the traditional. And then openness in the common market, that's one of the major features, like in the European Union. They have the openness in the common market and the union and the custom union. And the custom union means the trade barriers, the tariff, the duties, they are also harmonized. So very, very important and significant features. Jam Kamal also pledged and mentioned that we are going to improve the regulatory framework, and all other countries, they are trying to harmonize, because regulatory framework which becomes somewhat hindrance in the flow of the goods and services and the trade and commerce between among these countries. I think the environment creating this what John Kamal said, that the conducive business environment needs to be created, and the province and the preferential trade agreement among the bilateral level and the multilateral level if they want. But the bilateral level, they started doing it. Pakistan has also entered a couple of the countries with the preferential trade agreement. And then Kamal mentioned about the volume of the trade between Pakistan and member countries, which is attaining a higher trajectory. Unfortunately, because of the very costly imports, our goods and services volume is not really that high. And today is a good and a positive news that the interest rate, the basis points have been reduced. The policy rate has been reduced by the State Bank of Pakistan. That should give some boost to the industries, and they should start getting some liquidity. So some of these things, and this 23rd meeting of the ministers today, where Jam Kamal and the Chinese minister and other ministers start discussing, this basically is the preparatory meeting, and the actual approval, the actual this approval and the concurrence would be given by in the head of the government, that is the 15th.
A meeting that would be held here in Islamabad on 15th and 16th of October. What could be transpiring in that particular upcoming high-level moot? Dr. Jamil Khan, I'll come back to you, take your deeper understanding regarding that also. Now, on the phone line, we are honored to be joined by Dr. Adnan Sarwar Khan, Foreign Affairs expert. Dr. Adnan Khan, thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Now, let's talk about the expansion of the SCO. In the recent past, we have seen more and more countries joining this particular regional forum. What does that basically signify?
Thank you very much. Actually, as all know, that Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as Shanghai 5, was initially established on 15th of June 2001 in Shanghai. But those 5 countries just instantly were also added by Uzbekistan. So they became 6, but famously known as Shanghai 5. And by this time, you see, they have 10 permanent members, including Pakistan and India, of course. And the dialogue partners are also 14, almost 14. And then Afghanistan and Mongolia are the observer status countries. So this means almost 26 countries. This is a very accelerated expansion, I would say. And the reason behind is a great vision of the quickest, most progress, economic and trade, business, as well as mutual confidence and good neighborly relations amongst these countries of the Euro-Asian landmass. And this overall has, 80% of the world population and about 40% of the world trade. So this is something which has got a great push. And this means increasing realization amongst the initial members, particularly China, Russia, etc., that this vision was something to bring the countries closer economically and in trade and in rest of matters of common interest, so that you see common good of the area. We are talking these days about common good, common economic spaces, due to the geoeconomics side of international relations, which is taking place despite all the strategic hotspots. So this actually is the realization of all this vision, I think, which is a fantastic vision. And China and the Russian Federation plus the 5 Central or 6 Central Asian countries, which are known as C5, are said to be the core of this organization. And if this translates, so that would mean that mutual acrimonies, which are between some countries like India and Pakistan, as well as Afghanistan also regarding Pakistan, they would be subdued a little. And instead, you see, they would be coming up for the common good. So this has a multifaceted positive effect.
Multifaceted positive effects associated with this particular organization. Dr. Adnan Khan, I'll come back to you. Mr. Taimur, Akram, you already talked about the difference between the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the European Union and NATO. So the primary objective of the purpose was to ensure the security, the collective efforts to ensure the security in the region. So comparing firstly with NATO, if the primary objective of this particular Shanghai Cooperation Organization was to ensure the security, how do you differentiate it from NATO, that is a military alliance altogether?
Actually, once Shanghai 5 was created, it was basically created to stop the radicalization, the spread of the radicalization in the region. But once it was converted into Shanghai Cooperation Organization, then the basic, the security was not the basic aim. The basic aim was to develop connectivity, was to develop trade. But yes, Shanghai Cooperation Organization has a security component also, and they have a very big regional anti-terrorism organization, which is known as RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorism Structure, which has its headquarter in Uzbekistan, which all the countries, they share the counter-terrorism and their information in that. And also the Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries have been organizing the joint military trainings, joint military exercises. But there is no common military platform where the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Charter does not specify that if one country is attacked, all other countries are going to defend that. No, it's not there. But yes, one thing is there in the charter is common agenda for connectivity, common agenda for people-to-people contacts, for common agenda for creating SCO bank, for creating SCO universities. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
So this connectivity, people-to-people contacts, the bank. So
yes.
how do you differentiate that one from the concept of the European Union?
Yes, the concept of the European Union, they have, single visa regime. SCO does not have a single visa regime. They have a single currency. We do not have in SCO single currency. They have common laws. We do not have common laws. Pakistan is following some other laws. China has their own laws. The post-Soviet countries, they have their own laws. So all the countries, they are staying within their own independent entities, but yet they are part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization for the better good of themselves and for each other.
So what remains to be that very common ground that drives the very spirit of this particular Shanghai Cooperation Organization, despite there being so many differences and all the member states remaining within their own territory with their national laws implemented?
Connectivity. Connectivity is the name of the game, because as you know that in 2013, President Xi Jinping gave the idea of the community of the shared future. So if you go into the essence of the community of the shared future, it does not, it is not the Chinese colonization of the world, because it says that the communities should work together, they should work for the betterment of each other, but first they should work for the betterment of themselves. And then in 2013 May came the BRI, which was previously known as Belt and Road Initiative. So the BRI is basically the driver of the complete thing, because it is the infrastructure development in all the region. BRI now has 155 countries as their members and 30 organizations over there, they are the members. But Shanghai Cooperation Organization is very unique in a sense that it is gathering the countries together for multifaceted agendas. But the security is not at the top. Security is there, but at the top is the connectivity, the trade, and mostly people-to-people contact.
Right. When we specifically talk about connectivity being at the very core of this idea of the shared community with the shared future. Now, when we talk about the strategic position of Pakistan, the geographical position of Pakistan, firstly, what I am curious to understand about is the word or the term when you use the connectivity. Do we understand the connectivity, geographic connectivity? Am I correct in understanding?
No, it's geographic connectivity and connectivity within the region. Before this BRI, we used to use a terminology landlocked. But now, when you go to Uzbekistan, when you go to Kazakhstan, they are not known as landlocked countries. They are now known as land-linked countries. So Pakistan's geographical position is very, very important, because now if they are land-linked countries, and so where they are linking to Pakistan, and subsequently they are linking to Indian Ocean through Pakistan. And recently I was in Uzbekistan, and over there I met with the experts, and they said now we feel that Indian Ocean has come to our borders, because now there is a trade route. Right now we have a trade route between Kazakhstan and Pakistan. We have a trade route between Tajikistan and Pakistan. So Pakistan's geographical position amplifies our role in the region. And the CPEC, Pakistan-China Economic Corridor, the name itself has the word corridor, means the road in it. And because of this road...
Amplifies Pakistan's role. So I'll come back to you,
Yes.
take your understanding how Pakistan can actually leverage this particular amplified role, being that very corridor in this particular region. Let me once again go back to Dr. Jamil Khan. Dr. Jamil Khan, firstly, starting with this, do you see any major commonalities or the differences when we compare the Shanghai Cooperation Organization with other regional forums such as the European Union in particular, and also Mr. Akram already in his take saying that it's neither like the European Union nor like NATO. What's your understanding?
Well, NATO is a little different because that's a defense agreement. And the NATO Article 27, if I remember it correctly, the NATO Article 27, if one country is attacked, all the countries who deem to have been attacked and they can respond collectively. It's given their charter, in their charter. And in SCO, we don't have that feature in our charter, in the SCO charter. And maybe subsequently, they have the authority, the member countries, to bring an amendment in the charter. But I think it's quite far-fetched kind of a concept at this stage. But the basic features of the charter of the Shanghai Cooperation is to facilitate, and as it was being discussed, the movement of the goods and services, which means that the member countries are obliged to facilitate the accessibility, means linking, and then at the same time develop the transport routes in their own respective territory. Also, they provide a mutual access to the member countries and agree to provide the transportation network, facilitate the transportation network, including roads, railways, and ports. So all the landlocked country which was under discussion, now land-linked country because of these features. And then, like in the European Union, you said, what are the common features? The European Union has a unique feature, that's a custom union, means that once the goods and services enter into the European Union, any country of the European Union territory, that can go to any other country unhindered. And this is what the Gulf countries are also trying to finalize it. They have done it almost. They're trying to finalize that as well. So, and then more importantly, Ms. Jam Kamal today has mentioned that the removing the barrier, facilitation, the regulations, what all these respective countries, and then since we don't have the common features or common law for all these countries, so the beauty of this is that all the countries have their own independence, but they have to harmonize in order to achieve the aims and objective of SCO, which means in order to harmonize their rules, regulations, and regulatory features with the SCO Charter. Like once we have a treaty, for example, human rights treaty, for example, the treaty of, say, the death sentence, and there are so many other treaties which once signed and accredited by a country, then that country is obliged to bring the national laws in harmony with the treaty. So likewise, the charter of the SCO, then all these countries who are the member, they are to be to facilitate, they are to harmonize their, like Jam Kamal said it today. So far as the security feature is concerned, like in European Union, they don't have that security feature. There's a collaboration of counterterrorism, the information exchange. In SCO, it's slightly more than that, and that is joint military exercises. NATO, the European Union doesn't need to do that because they already have most of those countries are the NATO members as well, so they don't need to do that. But SCO, they have their collective exercises, and if we may recall, we have been participating. India has been participating. Together, we've been participating in the naval exercises and the military exercises. So those are those features which subsequently. However, there are certain countries they try to overplay the feature of counterterrorism and the security, like our neighboring country, India. Narendra Modi, he accused Pakistan using terrorism as a tool of state policy, which is against the charter of the SCO, because in the charter of the SCO, it's enunciated very clearly that the bilateral points and bilateral the agenda would not be really pushed into this multilateral organization, which is SCO. And we also, if I recall correctly, the Council of Foreign Ministers meeting, the foreign minister of our neighboring country again had that same rhetoric about the terrorism and the Pakistan's. They just wanted to have a mileage out of it. But the India, basically, if we look at it in a bigger canvas, India, while it is allied with the United States.
Isn't it a violation of the SCO Charter? And in that particular case, is there any mechanism enunciated within the SCO's framework that could hold that that member state violating its charter to accountability?
That's right, but this was just a speech. There was no resolution advanced for it, and there was no resolution passed for it. That speech, which is not in the spirit of the Shanghai Cooperation, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So therefore, they ignored it basically. But if it is repeated time and again, perhaps then they can invoke that clause in which they can caution the member country to refrain, and then give a chance to the member country to give their side of the explanation. So that could be possible.
Dr. Jamil Khan, your point is well taken. I'll have to move to Dr. Adnan Khan. Dr. Adnan Khan, when we talk about this particular statement by Mr. Jam Kamal, that Pakistan is keen to leverage this strategic advantage to contribute to the collective growth of the SCO region, being at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. Your understanding how Pakistan can capitalize on this particular quality of being at the crossroads of South Asia, Middle East, and Central Asia?
Yes, sir, you are absolutely right. And Mr. Jam Kamal also had very finely expressed this pointedly, that Pakistan is known to be at the crossroads of South, Central, West Asia. And now this is a prized position, though you see it entails with it certain sensitivities as well. But, if Pakistan somehow moves a little more faster, and I think government has all the intentions to do it now about the CPEC, so that is going to, as was earlier said also by one of the panelists here today in your program, that it would bring Central Asia very close to the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea. So this is the leverage that has not been with many countries of this grouping. In fact, you see, Pakistan would have more better chance than India in this regard for the connectivity and trade. So this is right. But one thing I would like to state here, that SCO is trying to build at the moment the convergences. It is not stressing upon some of the divergences as the very fact that it's a multilateral organization prima facie excludes the bilateral disputes, say if they are between India and Pakistan and Afghanistan, and terrorism issue also has been left bilaterally, and it's hoped that they would also be quite conscious about that and gradually would decrease it. So, but the point is that at the moment, one point agenda, trade, and with that attached connectivity. This is what Chinese also had been doing. They also have been stressing on trade so much, and that has actually elevated them to the second most important economic power in the world. So this is the lesson that the rest of the SCO countries, with the active support, Pakistan would be a gateway really. And this would mean that all the countries of this region resolutely support CPEC and also induce Afghanistan to become a partner in CPEC. With that, you see Afghanistan integration with CPEC and Pakistan would increase tremendously, and India as well. So if there is some problem with, and yes, one thing is there that Ukraine is taking much of Russia's resources towards the war, and Belarus also is somehow very strongly supporting Russia on Ukraine. So these problems, I think, had they been not there, it would have been made certain more successes. Yet you see,
Get your point well. Get your point well. You already talked that Pakistan might have a better chance to connectivity as compared to India. So does that really bother India? Because Mr. Khalid Taimur, Akram in his take, has talked about that India has been trying to underplay the significance of this particular regional forum, also holding that particular high-level moot of the Council of Heads of States online, not in person. Also, Dr. Jamil Khan alluding to the fact that it was the Indian Prime Minister that tried to point fingers towards Pakistan. Now, do you think this better chance to Pakistan towards connectivity actually bothers India? That's why India is trying to underplay the significance of this organization?
no, I would say that this is a reservation that is uncalled for by India, from the side of India. Because India finally cannot reject the idea so large and vast as is of the SCO. And in fact, whatever reservations are there and their participation through online, etc., I'm sure that with the passing months and times, that all would be contained. Now, it is feared that during the Modi administration, the relations between the two countries may not be that good at all. Yet, you see, this is the third term of Mr. Modi, and he has to be responsible to his people as well regarding this very important trade organization of this part of the world. So they cannot just put aside just because of Pakistan's more brighter chances as a gateway. I'm sure that China and Russia would prevail upon it, and the rest of the members as well.
Please stay with us, Dr. Adnan Khan. Mr. Akram, you already talked about India's intentions and role of perhaps trying to underplay this particular organization. Could that prove to be a stumbling block in the proper functioning or the benefits which are associated with the functioning of this organization, or not, as you already mentioned, that it's not like SAARC, and the way India did to SAARC, it's not going to happen in this particular case with the SCO?
Yes, we need to first understand that what India wants. Number one, India is not part of the greater Belt and Road program. India does not recognize China's Belt and Road program. India is just at the neighborhood of China, and unfortunately they are not part of BRI, and they plan to make their own spice route. The spice route was previously explored by Vasco da Gama long time back. And now India, with the help of few other countries, they want to reinvent that route and go for that. Secondly, India sees its future with G7 and G20. So, but I would say that they have become part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization just because Pakistan is part of SCO and they are in this region. But other than this, all their affiliation and all their aims are not aligning with the SCO's aims. Yes, India is very closely collaborating with Central Asian countries. India is one of the major trading partners with bilateral trading partners with China also. Yet they do not enjoy good border relations with China. So right now, India is in this dilemma whether they want to sit in G7 and G20 or they want to be fully members of SCO and become part of BRI. Yes, Pakistan, one, because of our location. Two, we are the flagship project of BRI. Why we are the flagship project? Because CPEC is the only corridor which passes through one country. The other smaller corridor is China, Mongolia, Russia corridor, but again it's passing through two countries, and the other four corridors they pass through 12 or 13 or 14 countries. So Pakistan's significance in the region has increased due to CPEC, and very soon we are going to see that Pakistan will become the major trade route for these, not only for these Central Asian countries, but at the back end even Azerbaijan and even Russia is eyeing towards this route. And at the same time we have seen China has already started its sending its trade via Karakoram highway to this route. So there is no comparison now between Pakistan and India on the trade routes, because as I have said, that India does not recognize BRI, and because of that they are left out of this regional connectivity which is being developed due to the infrastructure development of BRI.
So India being the part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as per your understanding, just for the sake of being the part of it, just because Pakistan is part of this regional forum and India is the part of this organization just for the sake of being there,
it's not,
and not having any...
Yeah, Pakistan is not only the reason, because India is in the region and they know that Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a very, very important organization. But we have seen the chairmanship of India, that 1 year was a year in which India could have leveraged out of, they could have organized many, many meetings, they could have taken a step ahead with the member countries of...
and they didn't do that.
They didn't do that.
So that was...
So that is an indication that they are really not interested in...
so if one country, being the member of the organization, is not interested, so isn't it going to have a detrimental effect on the overall functioning of that organization?
Not in SCO. Okay. Not in SCO, because...
How so?
Because SCO is expanding very fast, and very soon, maybe another 5 or 6 years, we will see 40 or 50 countries joining SCO, because all the countries which are part of the BRI, they are aiming to join SCO. We have seen a Saudi request coming to join SCO. We have seen China extending a hand to UAE and asking them to, inviting them to join SCO. So you will see very soon that these countries will join SCO, and this SCO will move out of this Eurasian region, and maybe countries from Africa, maybe countries from Latin America tomorrow can join SCO, because SCO charter does not restrict that it has to be, that your country has to be part of this region. So as the SCO is expanding, you would see more and more countries joining in. So India, if they decide to play a quiet role in SCO, it will not affect in the expansion, it will not affect in the overall SCO charter. But yes, Pakistan can leverage a lot from SCO, and which we are, and today we have seen the trade ministers of all the countries coming together in Pakistan, and Pakistan government presenting them the Pakistani corridor so that they can leverage out of it. And I was watching the interviews of various delegates who had come over here. They are really excited to use this route for their trade.
Right, Dr. Jamil Khan, what's your understanding when we talk about this particular take Mr. Khalid Taimur Akram has put forth, that India is trying to underplay the significance of this particular Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but it's not going to render this particular regional forum ineffective, just the way India did with SAARC. What's your understanding?
India has its interest, as a matter of fact, with SCO. And India, if we look at it from a different angle, India has two interests. Number one, that it is a very strong ally of the United States in this region. So at the geopolitical landscape, they have to really have that sensitivity in their mind. But on the other hand, India, I think, quite well understands that they have the biggest volume of trade with China. And then China is a major player of the SCO. And if they have the accessibility, which they have applied in past to have the access through the Pakistan, which they needed. They would increase their trade volume much more than what they have now. So they understand that if so far as their growth is concerned, with this platform available to them, they would like to make the best use of this platform. At the same time, they want to reap the fruits, and they have more than about 6 or 7 different agreements and the zillions of MOUs with the United States. So they have to have in their mind, in the sensitivity of that. We also understand that being a very strong ally of a string of alliance and the Quads, India has certain obligation towards the United States and its allies. Therefore, the containment of China policy, India is part of that in a way, and therefore they have they have in their mind the sensitivity, and therefore we can say that at times they're trying to underplay, but they don't want to lose, and they don't want to lose the portion of the pie. They want to have their share too in that. So therefore, I think, in my view, then India would be one of the biggest losers. And I don't think they are that insane that.
Right. Right, Dr. Jamil Khan. Do we have Dr. Adnan Sarwar Khan also still with us online? Dr. Adnan Khan, now when we talk about the upcoming high-level moot that would be held here in Pakistan, the Council of the Heads of the Government, what are your expectations? The opportunity at the hands of Pakistan, how Pakistan could capitalize hosting this particular moot here in October?
Yes, right. Actually, that would be a grand opportunity. Pakistan itself is struggling hard internally to boost its economic stability in relations with the friendly countries and the international financial institutions. So if this kind of a moot occurs, which is would be a moot of a very large economic organization, the largest in Euro-Asian region, you see, with some heavyweights like China and Russia and India as well. So that would be a great elevator. And I would really think that more than that, that what would be finally the trade volume between Pakistan and the rest of the countries, but it would have a very good perceptive impact on Pakistan's overall international economic standing.
Unfortunately, we are short of time. I'll have to take the quick notes from Mr. Akram also. Mr. Akram, the upcoming high-level moot, expectations regarding Pakistan getting that opportunity. How could Pakistan capitalize over that?
Yes, I'm sure that Pakistan government has prepared very well for that, and we must showcase the infrastructure which we have developed, because all the head of the governments will be coming for this on 15th and 16th of October. So one, the government must showcase the infrastructure which has been developed, the ease of business policies which Pakistan government is already undertaking and which they plan to undertake in times to come more. And thirdly is the, as you know, that we have also eased our visa regime also. So all these things combined will, Pakistan government will be able to put across a good package for these countries.
Right. Dr. Jamil Khan, your closing remarks regarding as the opportunity to Pakistan in showcasing infrastructure, ease of doing business, and also ease in visa regime, putting forth in front of the heads of the government of this particular region.
Yeah, there is a decision-making platform, and I think whatever has been discussed during the meeting with this ministers' meeting of the trade and commerce, that can be consolidated and approved, and the approval of all those points which we have discussed, the ease of doing business and the trade tariff and the customs, the regulatory impediments. So all those decisions, if that take place, Pakistan gets the benefit of it definitely. because of its pivotal.
Well taken, Dr. Jamil Khan, former ambassador, joining us on Skype. Thank you very much for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. On the phone line, we were joined by Dr. Adnan Sarwar Khan, foreign affairs expert. Dr. Adnan Khan, thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. In the studio, we were joined by Mr. Khalid, Taimur, Akram, expert international relations. Mr. Akram, thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.